Welcome to Football Today TV. These is your home for updated football news. So feel free to share your opinions and remember to subscribe as we continue to grow our family. In the early hours of a seemingly ordinary morning in England, a shocking incident unfolded that would once again place one of football's most recognizable figures under intense public scrutiny. Raheem Sterling, once celebrated as one of the brightest stars of English football, found himself at the center of a developing legal investigation following a motorway crash that has raised serious questions about his future, both on and off the pitch. According to reports, the incident occurred on a Thursday morning on the M3 motorway in Hampshire, a major route frequently used by commuters traveling between London and the South Coast. It was just before 9 a.m. when emergency services were alerted to a collision involving a luxury Lamborghini. The vehicle had reportedly crashed into the motorway barriers near the Minley interchange. What initially appeared to be a routine traffic accident quickly escalated into a far more serious situation. Authorities confirmed that no other vehicles were involved in the crash and, remarkably, no injuries were reported. While this detail may have brought some relief, the circumstances surrounding the driver raised immediate concern. The driver, later identified as a 31-year-old man from Berkshire, widely reported to be Raheem Sterling, was arrested at the scene. The arrest was made on suspicion of multiple offenses, including driving while unfit through drugs, dangerous driving, possession of a Class C drug, and failing to provide a specimen for testing. These allegations, if proven, could carry serious legal consequences and potentially damage Sterling's already fragile career. Following his arrest, Sterling was taken into custody for questioning. However, he was later released on bail as investigations continue. Authorities have emphasized that inquiries are ongoing and no final conclusions have been reached at this stage. This means that, legally, the situation remains unresolved, but the public reaction has already begun to shape the narrative surrounding the incident. To fully understand the significance of this moment, it is important to look beyond the crash itself and examine the broader context of Raheem Sterling's career. Once regarded as one of England's most talented and influential attacking players, Sterling rose to prominence through his early years at Liverpool before achieving remarkable success at Manchester City. During his time under Pep Guardiola, he won multiple Premier League titles and established himself as a key figure in one of the most dominant teams in English football history. However, football careers are rarely linear, and Sterling's journey has taken a more complicated path in recent years. After leaving Manchester City, he moved to Chelsea in a high-profile transfer, but his time at the club failed to meet expectations. A subsequent loan spell at Arsenal did little to revive his form, and eventually, his contract with Chelsea was terminated. Seeking a fresh start, Sterling moved abroad to join Dutch club Feyenoord on a short-term deal. This move was widely seen as an opportunity for the player to rebuild his career away from the intense scrutiny of the Premier League. Yet, even in the Netherlands, his impact has been limited, with only a handful of appearances and little sign of a return to his former peak. The motorway incident, therefore, comes at a time when Sterling is already facing uncertainty about his professional future. For many observers, the timing of the incident is particularly significant. With the summer transfer window approaching, Sterling is expected to become a free agent, meaning his next career move is already uncertain. Now, with a legal investigation hanging over him, that uncertainty has deepened considerably. Beyond the legal implications, there is also a human dimension to this story. Reports suggest that Sterling has been going through a difficult period in recent years, both professionally and personally. Once celebrated as a national hero, he has faced criticism, loss of form, and a gradual decline in his standing within elite football circles. For any athlete, such a transition can be challenging, and the pressures associated with maintaining success at the highest level are immense. This incident has sparked widespread debate among fans, analysts, and the media. Some view it as a tragic example of a player struggling to cope with the pressures of fame and the realities of a declining career. Others see it as a serious lapse in judgment that cannot be excused, regardless of personal circumstances. On social media platforms and football forums, Reactions have ranged from sympathy to harsh criticism, reflecting the complex and often polarized nature of public opinion. From a legal perspective, the allegations involved are significant. Driving while unfit through drugs is treated as a serious offense under UK law, as it poses a risk not only to the driver, but to other road users. Dangerous driving charges further amplify the severity of the situation, while the alleged possession of a Class C drug and failure to provide a specimen add additional layers to the case. Each of these charges carries potential penalties that could include fines, driving bans, or even imprisonment, depending on the outcome of the investigation. For footballers, off-field incidents often have consequences that extend beyond the legal system. Clubs, sponsors, and governing bodies closely monitor such situations, and disciplinary actions can follow even before a legal verdict is reached. In Sterling's case, his current status as a free agent may complicate matters further, as potential clubs may be hesitant to sign a player facing ongoing legal scrutiny. The role of the media in shaping this narrative cannot be overlooked. High-profile athletes like Sterling are constantly in the public eye, and incidents like this are quickly amplified through news outlets and social media. While this ensures transparency, it also means that the individual involved faces intense pressure and judgment long before all the facts are established. At the same time, this story highlights broader issues within professional sports. The transition from peak performance to decline is one of the most challenging phases in an athlete's career. For players who have experienced the highest levels of success, adapting to a new reality can be difficult. The loss of form, reduced playing time, and changing public perception can all contribute to mental and emotional strain. Sterling's situation, therefore, raises important questions about how athletes are supported during these transitions. Are there sufficient systems in place to help players cope with the pressures of professional sport? And how can clubs, organizations, and communities provide better support to individuals facing such challenges? As the investigation continues, the focus will remain on the facts of the case. Authorities will examine evidence, conduct tests, and determine whether the allegations can be substantiated. Until then, Sterling remains on bail, awaiting further developments. For fans, the incident serves as a reminder that even the most successful athletes are not immune to personal struggles and mistakes. It also underscores the importance of accountability, both on and off the field. Football may be a game, but the lives of those who play it are shaped by real-world challenges and consequences. Looking ahead, the outcome of this case could have a significant impact on Sterling's future. A favorable resolution may allow him to continue his career and seek a fresh start. However, a negative outcome could mark a turning point, potentially signaling the end of his time at the top level of professional football. In the end, this story is about more than a single incident on a motorway. It is about the rise and fall of a football star, the pressures of modern sport, and the complex intersection of fame, responsibility, and personal struggle. As the world watches and waits for the next chapter, one thing is certain: Raheem Sterling's journey is far from over, but it has entered one of its most critical phases yet.